Todd and Aaron.
It's time for Q&A with TNA. By the way, that stands for Todd and Aaron.
All right. Todd, looks like you're muted over there. So we'll start with...
No, I'm not.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Welcome into Q&A with TNA. This is Todd Downing, and I am Aaron Montgomery. You can find us up there that way at oursuccessgroup.com. Sorry, we're tuning in a little late here, but we appreciate you guys checking in here. I feel like I just ran from another meeting, right? Except for I just stood here and switched screens. So,
well, that's what people do nowadays.
Yeah,
you just switch buttons, and there it
correct.
is.
What was that? Alt tab. I just alt tabbed, right? So I came from a Zoom meeting over here to StreamYard. So
very nice.
Yeah,
I see we have all kinds of fun new stuff in StreamYard while I was away.
Yes. I actually learned about the background music from you on Tuesdays with Todd last night, so that was good. So yeah, I didn't see all this new fun stuff, but it's cool to see what they're playing with. And then I'm glad that you found how to shrink down or expand out your screen from the shrink down version. So
yeah, there was a couple new buttons. I'm like, let's just go see what I can go find.
Start clicking buttons, baby. Nice. Awesome. All right, well, let's check in with a couple people here. Todd, I am completely coming in hot here, so I'm going to lean on you a little bit. But Chuck, good evening. Thanks for being here.
What's up, Chuck? That's what you got to say. What's up, Chuck?
I leave that for you, though. So
I love it.
Yeah, good. And then Anti-Up Graphics Supply. What's
Kyle?
up?
It is Kyle. Good to see you. Thank you. Or it could be one of the gals over there, but I'm going to go with Kyle.
All right, cool. I've new to me, so I'm gonna have to look them up. So did you get to meet him out in Long Beach?
No, I've actually known him for a while from another group in that. In fact, Excellent. He does a silhouette training on Tuesdays at the same time as Tuesdays with Todd. So I always go crap for that. One of these times we're going to have to switch one of the shows up so we can go on the other one. So
yeah,
one of these times we'll do that.
Or just do it together, multicast to both locations.
Although I bring nothing to the table when it comes to silhouette except say,
No, that's not true. You've got plenty for silhouette though.
It's
just cutting vinyl, dude.
Just because I have one doesn't mean I know how to use it. What I do know how to do is import things from Corel through the Silhouette Connect and use it to cut. That's as far as my Silhouette experience goes.
But
they do a lot of good
the
training.
Broader picture of what Silhouette does, you've got plenty of information on
that.
Yeah.
It cuts
vinyl and cutting and all sorts of different things. So even print and cut, you can do print and cut with.
You can, unless you're me and I try and do a print and cut on the live, and it doesn't read right, so I got to, I figure out a glare. So hey, whatever.
Yes, there is that. All right, good. Well, Kyle, nice to meet you. And then, excuse me, Eileen, hello, howdy. And then we've got Mo tuning in, and I'm driving, so just listening. I mostly listen anyways. Yeah, there's not a whole lot to see. We might dance or do some exercises or something every once in a while.
We'll be descriptive. Right now, Aaron is standing there adjusting a shirt while I'm sitting here being a slob. It's nice.
Yeah. So let's see what else we've got here. Kim Johnson checking in. Hello.
Kim's probably, I don't think she's tired of me yet. It was a good weekend with Kim. That's for sure.
I love the pictures. I got to see some pictures of you guys out there. So
I think my face is still hurting from laughing. And I do believe that we closed on a bar and were there an hour longer after they closed as well. They just kept going and hey, go ahead, guys. Have fun.
There you go. Yeah, enjoy. Awesome. And we got Becky checking in. Hello. And then we got Susie Q checking in from Q Aquatics, I believe that is. I'm maybe not saying that right, but anyhow. So Todd, like I said, I'm coming in a little hot here. I just got done. I was asked to be a lead in in leading one of the mastermind groups. So if you guys are aware, at our success group, we have a wonderful mastermind group that we call Masters of Success. And that's been going on for quite some time now, over almost a year, maybe even over a year.
I think it's over a year.
Over a year. Yeah. It would have been, over a year now. And, so anyhow, point being is then I got asked through my work that I get to do at the Canfield Group is Jack runs a mastermind, a little different kind of mastermind than we do. But the way that I learned how to run a mastermind and really, because people pop up all the time saying, oh yeah, join my mastermind. And we hear it all the time. In fact, we have people in our mastermind group that have been in another quote unquote so-called mastermind and then weren't getting where they needed to go with it, because there's a very specific formula and process that I actually got to learn through my work with the Canfield Group that makes masterminding really work, makes that time that you spend in your mastermind valuable. So anyhow, I was asked to be a lead of one of his mastermind groups, and I was doing that, and they wanted to do a debrief. So I was actually sitting there talking with Jack Canfield and Patty Aubrey, who's the president of his company. So I was like, guys, I got to go, but I appreciate having this chance to.
You're like, I'm going to cut you off right there, Jack. He's like, the hell, it's never happened. Go for it.
It was a little bit jarring. It was like, I really was like, oh my gosh, I'm late, but everybody will understand, I hope. So
yes.
I appreciate you getting it started for us here, Todd. And you put it together anyway. So I'm really just here to show up and hopefully make a couple of jokes that are worth standing around for.
I'm sure they will be just fine.
Okay. All right. Kim, never tired of my twin, just so blessed our paths finally crossed. Yeah.
Kim coined a new term that I had not heard this before. Because if people don't know, Kim and I are twins. We share the exact same birthday and year. And Corey, being my wife, is now her twin-in-law. So it was a new one for me, and welcomed with open arms there. Like I said, a face hurting, belly laughing, great good time. And I don't know if you've seen a video of some swim trunks, but if not, you should ask about them.
I did, and I was. When I saw that video when it was actually filmed, right after it was filmed.
Nice.
And I was sworn to secrecy, so
not me. Not me at all. It was great. It was, as Kim said, she said it was the best $40 she's ever spent. So I would definitely say, looking to some. I don't even know what they're disintegrating swim trunks. So that's what you want to call them. Well, I'm not sure what the real name of it is, but it's definitely $40 of fun. Right, $40 of fun.
Kim, poor Terry. Kim says yes. All right. Well, so we're here for some Q&A tonight.
Yes, sir.
And looks like you've even got us all set in the banners and stuff there. So
right
on top of it as usual. Let me make sure we're getting all the. Kim says he has no chance around here. All right, I'll get out of teasing Terry here. All right, well, first off, Todd, let's make sure we share with everybody. If you've got a question, this is where you go, oursuccessgroup.com/QA, and put your questions in there. And I think we'll have another one next Wednesday, if I remember the timing of things correct.
That is correct. We will have another one next week, and I'm going to go ahead and drop it here in the comments, so everybody should have it there as well.
Yeah, if you're tuning in from either YouTube or one of the pages, not from the groups, it probably will pop up in your comments there as well. So oursuccessgroup.com/QA for those of you that are just listening in, i.e. Mo and whoever else is just listening. So Todd, should we start with the first question?
Yeah, let's hit it.
All right. Is there a place where I can search all the trade shows to see if there's any near me?
That is a great question, because I'm not sure if that resource is there. I know at one time you have something on Two Regular Guys for all the upcoming trade shows.
So yes and no. So if you go to tworegularguys.com and you click on any of our episodes and scroll all the way down to the bottom, we list most of the trade shows. Now, I know for a fact that we don't have like every single thing on there. I used to list like the ASI and the PPAI shows and some of that. And I just, not that I stopped for any other reason, it just, because what I've been trying to do is say, hey, you guys have to send me your shows. If you want to get this stuff put on Two Regular Guys, we're going to do that. So for right now, that's probably the best resource that I'm aware of. It is on my list of things to do. We've got this thing that I tried to start a while back called Decorators Community. It didn't really, because we started our success group at the same time. So a little too many balls in the air. But one day I'm plan on trying to kind of keep a calendar. I know some other sites had at one point, but I really don't see anything. So what I would suggest, if you're looking for trade shows near you, is I would contact any of your local suppliers and then ask them where they're going to be. And if they say, oh, we're not doing trade shows anymore, tell them, okay, well, then I'm going to find a new supplier because I need to get out and touch and feel this stuff, right?
You ask them why.
Yeah,
you ask them why.
Yeah, yeah. So anyways, that's what I would suggest first and foremost. But as one resource, the closest thing I'm aware of is what we keep as a list over there at tworegularguys.com. So
yeah, I think something that we could do for that would be great. Just because I know that there's so many of the little things, of the little ones that, are just, a weekend or a day here, and they're not national. The two that come to mind are the Applique Getaway, and then what's the other one that you're doing here?
Everything Embroidery.
Everything Embroidery. So those ones, unless I think you're in direct contact with that, you wouldn't know. I know we found out that there was a trade show here in our area, and by our area, I mean literally across the river from us, afterwards. And it was, we had no clue that it was here because they didn't reach out to anybody. I actually found out through one of my vendors that said something the next day. It's like, hey, did you know that this was here? I said, no. And they're like, we didn't either. So yeah, it was one of those things where if people wanted to get it out there, they need to put it out there. But if we could find something just to make it easy, you know, that's the thing.
Well, because at one point I even had it because like I said, we were trying to kind of get more of that stuff, but we do like a form or something like that. Because I know I can then get it into a calendar that then we can list online so people can kind of look at the calendar, but you probably also want to list with some locations. So it's all about just gathering the data. So we just need to get that done at some point. But I've got, in fact, let me do this actually, Todd, real quick. I'm going to share, maybe. Computer's tired, apparently. All right. So maybe yes. No.
I'd say maybe yes.
Oh, I should add it to the stream and that would help. Okay. Then I got to get rid of that. Okay. So yeah, this is at the bottom of the last show that we did. Now it's not cooperating, but so I'm just on the mental health. So if you go from home and then you just click on the first show, and then you can scroll all the way down to the bottom here and you'll see, so we still have Long Beach because at this particular show, we still had Long Beach. Next one upcoming that I'm aware of there is Dax, Kansas City. Like I said, there's probably some ASI and other shows that maybe is missing.
Yeah, because I think there's APA in Vegas is before that too.
APA in Vegas, yeah. So I'll try to get those updated on the next show posting. So after we do our show on Friday, I'll go through the list one more time and try to get some more updates. But you got Graphics Pro in Irving, Texas, Atlantic City, New Jersey, Impressions Expo, Graphics Pro Expo in Denver, Tinley Park, Chicago, DAX show. Those are the classes that we'll be teaching there, the folks involved with Two Regular Guys. They're Everything Embroidery Market. I know it's not posted yet, but they have announced in July there will be the Applique Getaway in Dallas Fort Worth area, Irving, Texas. Let's see, we've got Indianapolis, Atlanta, Meadowlands, New Jersey, Long Beach, California again, Fort Worth, Texas, Charlotte, North Carolina, and then Las Vegas for the big Printing United show. So like I said, there's probably some more in there that I'm missing, but that's a good start at least. So
I think it's a great place to look.
Hopefully that helps. All right. So let's see here. And now, there we go. Okay. Fort Worth is upcoming, Jerry says. Evelyn, good evening. All right. Perfect. And good to see you, Jerry, there. And Wendy tuning in. Okay. All right. What's you want to hit the next question here, Todd?
Let's get it.
Okay. There it is. How do I know if my business can afford a payment for new equipment?
Your numbers. I mean, in reality, your numbers tell you what you can and cannot afford. I think that's the easiest way to do it. I know I was trying to make my numbers work for that damn DTG printer. You better add a couple zeros to make that work.
So maybe Todd, do this then for people. When you talk about your numbers, kind of maybe walk us through that process though. What does your numbers specifically mean? How do you look at that?
So in our numbers, and when we look at things, actually in our build out sheet, when we went into our pricing, we have factored in there a payment. So I think we have it in there 350. 500, one of those two right around there. So we have that factored into our overhead. So we know, hey, this is what we need to make to be able to do this payment. We also know of where we were with previous bills and where things were. So if we're able to cut things out, then we know that money just kind of moves around. It goes from one column to the next column. Because at the end of the day, it all ends up in the same spot. Yeah. So we knew where we were sitting with stuff. We knew what we had. We knew what we'd gotten rid of. And we knew where we wanted to stay for a payment. So to go out to a trade show and purchase a piece of equipment, we knew where we wanted to be with a payment. We had already had financing in place. So we knew, what we could go up to keep that payment there. And we actually came in under it. So that's always a plus when, you go out there with one and you come out underneath. But that way, that you can afford it, because some of those payments, it can be crazy payments on it. And some other people are like, only pay cash for stuff. Okay, so I have the cash and I can drop it on, I can buy it, right? But then my cash is gone. So I have no cash to go do anything else with or that rainy day fund. Or if I have this built into my pricing, now that money's working for me because I'm buying a piece of equipment, I'm leasing it. So now I get the tax benefits of that, but then it's making money. So it's producing money and making money itself. That cash isn't doing anything when it's just sitting there. And, this is the first time I've bought equipment this early in the year. Usually it's the end of year thing for me. And I really tried to make it happen last month and it just couldn't happen. So getting in at the beginning of the year is kind of a new thing for me. But that's what we do. Our numbers tell us what we can afford, not afford. I cannot afford $9,500 a month yet. But, maybe
9,500. Yes. If you're not familiar with what Todd's talking about, the Rock has a new DTG printer that you can finance for as low as $9,500 a month.
God, I think it was amazing. God, it was amazing.
Yeah. All right. Well, so let me also kind of give a little feedback on that too, because I think that what Todd said is exactly right. And for those who aren't familiar with what Todd was talking about when he talks about the kind of the breakout of it and knowing your numbers, that's all part of what is inside the 5 keys. That's what the basis of the 5 keys program is getting to know your numbers. And part of that is paying yourself and then also preparing to improve your business. So we need to upgrade our equipment. And, if you've got a computer 3 years down the road, you probably need to replace it, right? If you've got a cutter, we'd love for them to last forever, but the reality is the equipment and technology needs to be upgraded. So that's another part of it is you plan for having those expenses. So that's the first thing. If you're doing that, so you're being proactive when it comes to that side of it. So now yes, I can afford that equipment because I've been planning for it. But the other side of this too, that I think is important for people to understand is the mindset of investing in equipment. So, you're going to go to a show like Todd just did, and you're going to look at stuff and you're going to go, oh my gosh, that thing's $10,000 or that thing's $5,000 or that thing's $250,000 or whatever the price tag is. That thing's $9,500 a month. But one thing you said last night on Tuesday with Todd, which I thought was really smart, and it was the fact that, that's a big, huge number and that's a big, scary number. But if your business is, needing to kind of produce that number per hour, right? You did the backwards math on it. So it's not about what's the number. You're not worrying about, is it $10,000? Is it $20,000? It's how much money can I make with that piece of equipment. So if I can speed up, one of our Masters of Success members was having some challenges with a lot of work. And so the solution was to add an additional piece of equipment. It wasn't about how much that piece of equipment cost. It was about how much more work you could do when you've got two machines running simultaneously. And then that's how you need to look at those equipment investments in how much money can that make for me. So because at the end of the day, if I could say to you, Todd, if you spend $10,000, I'm going to guarantee you $20,000, and you only had $5,000, you'd figure out a way to come up with another $5,000. And so that's basically what we're doing with ourselves. Is you have to go into the right mindset and just say, you know what, I'm going to spend this $10,000, but I know it can make me $20,000. So I'm going to figure out a way, financing, whatever it takes. And I agree with you, Todd, tying up all your money, tying up all your cash in a piece of equipment, while it might seem good because you're not paying the interest and stuff on it, if you're able to service that monthly cost, it's totally the better way to go, because then you can use that cash to invest in marketing, to invest in, the things, just save for a rainy day and that kind of stuff. And so yes, you're spending money to, get that money, you're paying interest. But if you do it right and you're making it back, and then you're also building interest through investments or other things like that, I don't know. I get that point when people say the same thing. I hear it all the time too, but man, I just don't, I don't think it's that big of a deal in the long run to be paying a little bit of interest to be able to have that cash free to you.
Right.
So.
And I don't even think it's so much that cash freedom. If I look and say, anybody wants a new piece of equipment, and let's just, say it was $15,000, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to save, $500 a month to get to it. Well, it's going to take me 3 years to get that money to be able to pay it. That's 3 years you're not producing. You're saving that there. Where if you're saving $500 a month to be able to buy that off, and you can get that payment for, $300, well, then you still get the equipment. So we can start producing for you now, and then save that $150 for it. Yeah. It just, when you, in our business, when you buy equipment, everybody should be buying equipment to make them, more efficient, or to make, the more efficient is going to add more profit. It's just how it goes. But if you're able to streamline your process, do things faster, do things, more simpler, then you're able to, then, hey, now I can make money with this. So for us, when everything is running great here, we're at about 30 square feet an hour. And that's running perfect. I will tell you that it has been not perfect the last 2 days because even though I spent a day doing all of the close down maintenance, it is terrible to reopen on things that are not made for it. So I am now in the conundrum of, what do I do? Do I go ahead and continue down this journey of trying to get one printer up and going and make everything work from the other three? Or do I just wait, because my printer will be shipping out by Friday, which means I will have it next week. So the other thing with that is we're going to, producing 30 square foot an hour. I'm going to be we did the math, and we'll see, because I always tell you how things are. Yeah. But conservatively, we're going to be 70 square feet an hour. So we're going to, more than double what we're able to put out. So what does that do? One, it's going to help us bring costs down because we're able to produce things faster. The other way it brings costs down is having, currently we'll manual shake on 2 of them. So when you do that, it's just more labor that's going into it. Now you just hit the push the button and send. So we'll be able to bring costs down. Now, do we have to? No, because we've already priced everything where it's at. So I can make more money, but I'm looking at volume. Now that I have this machine, I need to keep it running more. So here, this is what we're going to do with it. And the greatest thing to me was not having to wait 45 days for something. When I went back to my finance guy and said, here's what we got, it's going to be shipped out at the end of the week. And he goes, this week? Yeah, he goes, yeah. So everything I'm hearing is 30, 45, 90, 6 months out. So he goes, sounds like you bought the right piece of equipment for yourself, because you're going to have it here.
Yeah.
So that's really, when you start looking at things, how can it better your business? And if we're positioning ourselves to be able to help those small to mid-sized businesses. And, hey, we do business with $5 million companies to be able to get them transfers faster, at a lower price. Then all that's going to do is just expand out what we do. And I can't wait to see it here and set it up. And I surely will invent new swear words for it. But that's all part of it. That's definitely all part of it.
Yep, it is. It is. Yeah. So Jerry says it also has to make sense. And Todd, I want to speak to that just real quick because, those of you that have known me for a little while, one of the things that I've been involved with in this industry is I was on the side of the other side of the aisle. I would have been the guy trying to sell something to Todd. Right. And so I've been there. And one of the things that really kind of drove me to start our success group with Todd here is some of those conversations that I would have with people. And where, like you said, it has to make sense. And so again, you've got to have that investment mindset, and you have to be willing to invest in yourself, and you have to be willing to take a risk on yourself. That's part of being a small business owner. But you do also have to have a plan and have, so we'd had a lot of people that would show up and they were like, yeah, business is terrible. I'm going to buy this machine as like, this is going to save my bacon. It's like, oh man, I hate, I would to a certain extent almost try to talk people out of it at that point. As a salesperson, I was terrible because I'm talking people out of it, but I had to be able to sleep at night because equipment does have to make sense. It's one thing if, you want the shiny new object, but if it's not gonna, what's the market? Do you have a market built for it? Because like, for example, when I was selling DTG back in the early days of DTG, it was the new hot shiny thing, just like DTF is right now, right? And people were buying the machines, but didn't have a market for it. And then the machines would sit. And as Todd knows, when the machines sit, they don't always work very well after the fact. And then all of a sudden they'd get that one big customer, but their machine didn't work. So they lose the customer, their business would go under and, blah, blah, blah. So it's definitely a challenge there. So, all right, clearing out a couple things here. So anything else on that, Todd?
No, I said one of the big things is you'll know when you need it. When you start feeling bogged down on things, or because even for us, I don't need an embroidery machine. I want one because I just want one to have to know how it is. But anytime you get a new piece of equipment that's new to what you currently do, it is also going to take your focus away from the things that you currently do.
Yeah.
So that's something else to consider too. That shiny object syndrome. Hey, and I've seen more than a handful of people who's like, hey, I've got a credit card and I can buy a converted printer and I can be a DTF printer. And then, 3 months later, they're like, it was the dumbest thing I ever did because I didn't realize how much maintenance went into it. I didn't realize that I had to do something with it every day. I just didn't realize it. And a lot of these companies, they're not telling them that. Here you go, just buy it and go. Because and then people are looking at, it's $3,000 mistake. Okay, and I think we've all made ones like that. But if I can help people not make mistakes like that, that would make me a lot better.
Yeah, make us all happy. All right, Todd, ready for the next one?
Sure, let's go.
All right, and this one's gonna fall squarely on your shoulders, sir, because I was not there. But what was the coolest thing you saw at the Long Beach show?
Besides people?
Besides actually
cool.
Seeing people again.
What about Coolio? Can Coolio count? Because that was pretty
wild. What was the coolest thing? Coolio, cool. Yeah, it works out.
I'm gonna go with that Rock Now. That was just an amazing thing to watch.
Yeah.
To see what it could do production wise. And a lot of people that I've talked to about it, they're just like, there's no way anybody can afford that. And I'm like, yes, there is. Otherwise, they wouldn't make it. They're not going to make something that's not going to sell. But to see how quick that thing could print, it was just amazing. And when you can just lay a shirt on there and it does pre-treat, it does white underbase, it did everything, and it could do up to 200 shirts a minute. I didn't think that thing was crazy and wild, and that's a goal that would be amazing to have. The footprint wasn't huge on it either. That was the other thing. I was really surprised with that. And so I really like that. As far as the show itself, I want to say capacity of vendors was only 60, 70%. There was a lot of open spaces. And I had been virtually through the show before because Corey's been, so I got walked through it that way. I've seen different people, have their walkthroughs of it.
Yeah.
And, from my understanding, previous shows, you had the main hall and then you had the rock room, that was,
Yep.
the Ryanette room that was in between. And then there was the hall on the other side. Right.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
So the hall on the other side wasn't there. The rock room wasn't there and the floor was not full.
Yep.
So, I'm conservatively saying 60-70%, was capacity of that. There's definitely a lot of open spaces. There's definitely a lot of people that pulled out last minute and just no called, no showed.
Yep.
But I think the people that hurt the most was the company themselves for not showing up.
Yeah.
And the people who did show up because they were out. Everybody wanted to get out. It's crazy when you think about what a trade show is. Is it, to me, it's more than just go there to get a deal on a floor model, right?
Yeah.
Because guess what? Most of these places aren't selling their floor models because they can't get new ones in. They need it for the next show.
Yep.
So you're not getting those amazing deals like you did before. And anybody who's been in it long enough knows, hey, they always have the trade show special that's there, and it's usually good for a week. And what comes along in another week? Another trade show. So a lot of those deals are there all the time. You just have to ask for them. Hey, what do you have on a trade show special?
Yeah,
and
sure.
you can do that. And a lot of people don't think about that.
Sure.
But those people wanted to get out and see people. The networking, it's like a big dysfunctional family where everybody has been cooped up for years, and here's what's going on, here's how you're experiencing it. Everybody's going through the same thing, and to see the growth, see new businesses that I hadn't heard of before, and just see that there is a few smaller businesses that I had never heard of, and I mean their booths were just rocking and rolling because they have their people and they were out there doing it. And so to see that, one of the weirdest ones that I saw was, and I actually had it on a list to check out because I wanted to see what it was trucker hats for dogs. So I mean, you talk about a niche market,
no kidding.
that's pretty cool. We do a lot of stuff with the shelters and that. Let's go check this out. So here's the problem with it. They didn't sell them blank. Okay, fine. You're not going to sell it to me to decorate. Okay, I can handle that. I'm just going to send it to you to decorate. They wouldn't decorate them for you either. Here was their designs to choose from, and that was it. So to me, they were at the wrong type of trade show.
Yeah, they definitely were at the wrong show.
I was thinking, oh, okay, you'll just send it to them. They'll take care of everything. That way it is what it is. Fine. And then nope, here's your ones to choose from. Like, well, this doesn't seem like a good idea for a place like this because everybody wanted them blank so they could do them themselves, or I can send them to you and you can print them for me. Nope, that was it. So that was kind of an oddball one there. Interesting. And then the Coolio concert, that was where Rock used to be, in the center there. So that was, a little while afterwards. The whole event itself, they had it really set up for, if you needed a COVID test, you could sign up for that. It was on the back side of the building, a separate entrance. They were getting those out in 5-10 minutes for people, and they were able to go in. So, they really did good with that. They had masks available if you didn't have one. I will say at the concert, masks weren't too prevalent because there were a lot of drinking and eating going on. So they didn't wear them. But then, out of nowhere, it totally, if anybody grew up in the 80s and you'd go to the mall for a concert and, you're going to see Tiffany or you're going to see Debbie Gibson or you're going to go see any of that when they were starting off there.
Yeah. That's
what it was totally like seeing Coolio because you're right there and he's just right there. It was a different thing. Ryan Moore got on stage and sang a little, which, hey, it's his show, hey, go out there and have some fun with it. So he got his people fired up for it. And and there was Coolio. So it was definitely it was a fun experience. I would definitely recommend if anybody only could go to one show, from the shows that I've been to and just, especially with the after party that was there, the amount of vendors that are typically there, the amount of people from across the globe that are there, that'd definitely be on my list of ones that you definitely should check out, because there's always going to be something, fun and exciting going on there.
Yeah.
So,
and I was talking to Terry during the show. He was sending me some text messages and stuff like that because they had a booth there. Equipment Zone had a booth there in the show floor, and that's what he was saying is that that same kind of conversation that you mentioned where people were like, where the heck are the vendors, and I that worries me, right? Because it does a couple things. Then those of us that are going to attend the show, now we're going, well, really, should I go to the show next time? So what I'm encouraging you, if you're an attendee, give them a little bit of grace. We're going to flog them. We talk about this all the time on Two Regular Guys, how the vendors need to start showing up. I mean, it just, I get it, right? That they like can save money by, doing virtuals and stuff like that. Knock it off with that stuff. I mean, that's fine. Do your virtual, but show up at the trade shows. People need to see and touch and feel and have that face-to-face conversation, even with the mask on. Being able to look into somebody's eyes and build that relationship is just invaluable. So Terry was talking about that and the fact that in fact, he said that he had to call back to his office. Equipment Zone's headquartered in New Jersey, and he called back to his office and said, "Hey, I need you guys to set up a demo for somebody that I met here at the show." And they're like, "Well, why is that person coming all the way from the West Coast to do a demo out here in New Jersey?" And he's like, "No, they were from New York. They just came out for the show." Like, so people were traveling to come to the show, so yeah, it's. Give it a little bit of time. It'll come back around. So everybody just have some patience. I think we'll get some of the companies back. But I do love the fact that this is opening up new markets, right? A trucker's hat for dogs. Now, hopefully they learn something from this experience that maybe they do need to sell them blank or something like that. Kim says, love the trucker's hat for dogs. I had no clue you couldn't get blanks, right? So again, hopefully everybody's learning and growing. And then Kim said, I think Bella Canvas was my favorite booth. So upbeat and fun.
Yep. So Bella had skaters in there. They were skating around. And then you could also pick your shirt and pick your print. And so you would get a shirt in there while you were there.
Cool.
And that's the other thing, about some of these is maybe some of these places, they're only choosing to do a handful of them. But maybe instead of doing a handful of them, where you're spending a crap ton of money, maybe kick that back 75%. So that way you can get to a couple more shows.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that what you're going to see is this is going to open up the market for a lot of people that have started in the last 2-3 years to be able to attend a trade show. I think you're going to see a lot of these booth prices come down because hey, they can't. How many times can you put on a show where you're only at 60% capacity? That's gotta hurt a bottom line somewhere.
Yes, it does.
And so hey, this is what we can do for you. So I think that you're going to see some changes in it, and it's going to allow some places that you'd never heard of before, or only had heard of them online, that are going to start picking up. I see that there's a few coming up for DAX. Crazy Creations or something like that, and I think they've got a few sublimation items. It doesn't even look like a lot of sublimation items, but hey, they're going to be there, and I'd never heard of them before. They look like a smaller startup. In fact, they have my favorite thing ever when you email them. I think it's to a Yahoo, so it's got a Yahoo email.
So we'll have to go over and talk to them and help them out a little bit.
It's one of those where, hey, they're going after it, and they're going to figure it out along the way, which, anybody can knock them for that. But guess what they're doing that companies aren't doing? They're getting out there, going to show and seeing their people, and they're filling in for those spots that other people aren't. So it's definitely something that they need to do. And I think in every market where there's a trade show, there's companies that are close to that are selling one thing or another to the industry that they could go there and do it. And it's a great thing to do, because especially if it's the show's local to you, those are your local customers. And if the national guys aren't coming along who they're buying from, you're the local one. It just seems like a no-brainer to me.
Yep. I agree with you 100% there, Todd. And so what we need to do is everybody needs to start getting on the emails or on the phone or whatever it is, how you contact your vendors and tell them, hey, where am I going to see you? And then, if they say, oh, we're not doing shows, say, well, change that up. Otherwise I'll find a new vendor.
And that's, you don't need the big booth either. If you traditionally had a big booth, go with the 10 by 10. And a lot of times, you don't, for a lot of these ones, it's not so much even selling anything. It's just people want to see you, who have you seen online for years that now you can put a face with a face in real life. Let me see you, let me talk to you. And then you make that connection, and that's there, there's so much of it, and that's what I give Matt hell for it, at least, once every few weeks to say, hey, remember, your booth traditionally was 3 deep all the way around it all weekend long. and you just got up there and just talked. You had your classes that were full every time, and so maybe, and his booth wasn't anything spectacular that day, but they had 3 people running it, and they were always busy, and it's just, the cost of it versus what they were doing on a live. I mean, I get it, I understand it, but he is there. There's a lot of people that miss him. Wait, he's not at a show. And so maybe select a few shows, or select ones that are closer. To still get that opportunity, or do something, because people want to see you, and that's and I think that's the biggest thing. People want to see you who are there.
Yep, exactly. So, Kim says 21 vendors at DAX, sad face. Well, there could be more. I've been talking to a couple of, because we need to represent a little better in sublimation too. I'm glad to hear that there's a new one there. I haven't looked at the list lately, but I was talking to some other vendors. In fact, one is looking at it very seriously. I won't call him out, but very well known, probably the most well-known sublimation supplier out there. So we'll leave it at that. You guys can probably figure out who that is.
Does it rhyme with Rondi?
The company might rhyme with that, but we can't say for sure. And then, I'm also trying to talk this really cool printing service into having a booth out there. That's Dad, I think, something like that.
Yeah. So I don't know about February, but we'll jump into this conversation.
You're good.
Because this conversation, started with that, and it led to me, having a meeting with the boss, and the boss said, wouldn't it make sense if we're going to do something like that is where the launch of Little Monkey's Craft Company would be in Chicago, and have everything there with that. So thank you for that, because that might end up being a reality of sorts.
But it'd be such a good test to be in Kansas City.
It would be. And maybe just get a booth just to stand in and wave.
There you go.
We'll
figure out something to make it happen.
I think there's 2 things that I think every show should have, and I've only seen it at one show, and we've talked about the one where having headshots. Having that where somebody can come in and get a professional headshot, and have it sent out to them.
Wow.
That is something that a booth did do at Long Beach.
Okay.
And so that's something that's always good, because everybody's looking for that. And I think I don't know how it's going to play out in the future, but previously, you would have people fly in for that, and a lot of people wouldn't take anything because they didn't want to carry it on the plane.
Yeah.
So there needs to be, some kind of shipping service. I know ASI does that, where here's a local shipping company where you can just drop it off and you can ship it straight from them, and they take care of it from there. So you're not lugging it all over. I think that's some ways to get some out there. And
there used to always be like a FedEx or a UPS type store in a lot of the convention halls, but you don't see them as much anymore.
Right.
So
because I even think like that. Say we have a FedEx that's at DAX, right? DAX Kansas City, here's FedEx. How many people forget to make copies, or forget business cards, or run out of flyers?
Oh God, I've driven all over lots of different trade show towns trying to find back then Kinko's,
So if you could just go up to them and be like, hey, I need this, and okay, yep, we'll have it here, okay, perfect, and so I think that's something that could help both sides of it.
Yeah, and they charged me like through the nose too, and it's like, well, it is what it is. Yep, I screwed up. So
yeah, I think something like that, where you can have people, to be able to do that, because that print thing, it's one of the things that shipping part, but I think on a lot of the other stuff, just that it's simple. Here we do business cards, we do this, even on if you were to FedEx or UPS store, either one of those, because a lot of people don't realize that you can set up accounts with them either. They think they just got to go there and drop stuff off, so they don't realize that they can set up an account with that. So maybe to help explain that shipping to them and how that works. So I think it would be something good there.
And FedEx or something. Yeah, interesting. I like it.
Yeah, cool. So those are my 2 things that I'd like to see at a shows going forward. Something even like here when we did Long Beach, the innovation zone, where I remember where it was going to be this big production, and you're going to be able to do this. To me, from what I saw, because we came in late on Saturday and we got out early on Saturday, because we had Airbnb to check into. We were driving up from San Diego. We were still getting stuff done there. So, we had a limited time, and we kind of really debated, do we stick around more on Sunday to go to the show again and hit stuff, or do we get a jump on getting back to San Diego, because we still had projects and stuff to finish there. And there's a couple places that we wanted to hit along the way. So we only were really at the show for maybe 4 hours or so.
Okay.
It was long enough for me to get in to talk to the vendors that I needed to see a couple of things that I wanted to see, and then get out of there because we had stuff, and then we had the after party and all the fun stuff that comes along with that. But there was a lot of I didn't feel like I really missed a whole lot because the show was so small. In years past, I've seen like this big. It reminds me of going to like Lollapalooza and you show up and it ends up being like a state fair show. It was like, oh my God, there's like 80,000 people here. Now there's 8,000. Still great show, still putting on the music, still getting there. But it's just when there's not a lot there, you can just burn through it and go. And I did notice at a few of the vendors, especially on the DTF side. Let me tell you this too. If you're a vendor and you're watching this and you're going to put somebody in your booth, we at least make sure they know what the hell they're talking about. Because there's nothing worse than that when you know more about the piece of equipment that's there than the person who's supposed to be selling it. And when you ask them questions, they're like, I don't know. What?
Oh,
why are you even here then? Like, if you
got to at least have somebody there that knows, right?
Right.
When I used to run trade shows, we would have occasionally, a customer jump in and join us, but they always knew, okay, if a question comes up you can't answer, you come interrupt me and we'll make sure that it's taken. Sorry,
right.
Go ahead.
No, and so there was a few that were like that where they didn't know, and what really concerned me was at one booth there they had both DTG and DTF, and the guy you could tell that he was a customer, and he was helping out, so he was doing his best on it. But I said, well, what's making you make the switch from DTG to DTF? And he said, well, just the process that I have to go through on the DTG side. He goes, I hate pre-treated shirts. I said, well, why don't you just buy pre-treated shirts? He goes, you can buy those.
Oh no!
Wait, what? I'm like, how do you not know that? Considering where their booth was, like if I'm drawing a T, all right, and their booth is sitting right here, and there's T here, right across the way, was a place that was selling pre-treated shirts. There's some washings and they were doing it, so it was right like look right, and that's what I was like. Oh, right here has them, and S&S has them right here. So
wow,
there's some great, that's what I said. It's just having the right people there.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, let's see here. Kim says, but the seminars at DAX look really great. And so I'm going to take this opportunity. Thank you, Kim, for sharing that. Because you talked about the headshots. Mm-hmm. Now I'm not doing headshots, but I did actually get a new backdrop and some setup and gear, because at the DAX shows this year, I'm doing a half-day workshop, and it is, I can never, we've changed the name of the title a bunch of times to try to get it fit. And the idea here is I want to help people learn how to create content, things like live videos, things like recorded videos, things like, whatever. And so I was just going to do this as a normal seminar to start, and basically was calling it Mastering Live Video and Podcasting. And so Scott started talking to me, Scott Ritter, the owner, he and his wife own DAX. And he was talking to me about it. He says, can you go deeper and make it a half-day workshop? And I started, without thinking too much about it, I said yes. So like a dummy, I have created a whole bunch of extra work for myself, but I'm really excited about it now because I do think it's going to be a really cool experience. We're going to get into breaking down, what keeps people coming back. I've been fortunate enough to get to do the Two Regular Guys for, in fact, coming up into the 10th season here. So February 13th was when we started it. And so 10th season starts here coming up right after February 13th. So, what have we done to develop that? So we'll talk about all that, creating a story, creating all of the parts and pieces, kind of being able to engage people really is what it boils down to. So we'll break all that down. We'll get into the actual technical stuff. What I'm looking at right now in front of me is going to be with me there in DAX, and we'll have the whole setup and all the tech and gear. And so you get all that too. And then if all things go well, and when you're dealing with technology, there's always a chance that it won't. But the goal is, and if we can't do it there in the class, we'll make sure it happens one way or another. But the ultimate goal is that we're going to work on an elevator pitch, our brand story, as part of the workshop. And then at the end of the class, everybody is going to sit down in front of the camera and record their elevator pitch. And they will have an elevator pitch with a nice backdrop, and we'll have lighting and stuff like that. So not a headshot, but how about a 30 to 1 minute elevator pitch video that you can pop right on your social media, pop right on your website, wherever you are online. And so we're really just going to talk about how do you create an online presence that's more than just this web page with some product images on it. How do you get the movement? How do you get people attracted? How do you get people showing up? So
Very nice.
Something I'm extremely excited about. So
I can't wait to see how it turns out. And you could always just send them down to the booth for a headshot afterwards.
That's a good point. Well, I'll send them over to the Fat Dad booth, and then there'll be a headshot.
And I'll just have headshots and shipping.
Headshots and shipping.
Shipping heads by the
way, and by the way, we also do DTF. Crazy,
right? We got and like yours. There's so many people that that they want to be able to do that. They just don't know how. And I think if I know you, then I think I do well enough. You're going to be able to help them develop a system to make this not feel like such a chore for them to do. I've been, taking the week off really kind of threw me out of sync on some of the things that I've been doing, but I've been trying to log on things that I've been doing, uploading that and trying to keep a log of numbers of how we're moving with stuff, because that way I can do it for a month and have a baseline of, okay, here's what I do, here's where it's at, what areas do I need to focus on more if I want to do it, and then how do I do it from there? Because there's a lot of this where there's a lot of science behind it, but then on some of it there's a good amount of luck too. Having the right content to the right people at the right time, and it's not that I need to get in front of 1 million people to see it. I just need to get in a couple hundred of the right people. And from there, it'll take off, and they'll share my stuff for me and take care of everything from there. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be an amazing thing to really help people take that step and that aha moment for them.
Yeah, I hope so. So it's called Into Cyberspace, your new online customer center. And so, again, all those things that we talked about, breaking all that down. And then I guess, Todd, if like Kim said, the education is really good there. The other new workshop this year is being put on by Katie Wubin, who's with Trouble Me Not. And her workshop, we actually had a conversation to make sure that we were like not overlapping, and that it wasn't, that we understood kind of what each of us were doing. And as we were talking, we're like, oh my God, this is perfect. And then we looked at the schedule, and it's like, oh, well, hers is after mine, so this is even more perfect. So I'm going to give you that foundation. I'm going to give you all that. She's going to then teach you how to, hers is called Present Your Products Online Professionally. And so now she's going to talk about the taking pictures and all of that kind of stuff. So not only will you have some engagement and get people coming to your website and knowing who you are because of what do I get to share with you, then she's going to give you that next step further. So copy for your products and all that kind of fun stuff. You can go read about it. I just put it down there. If you go to daxshows.com, you can find the seminars there. So
awesome. Now on hers, actually on both of yours, are those on the Thursday?
They're actually on Friday.
On Friday, okay.
Yep. And I think Curtis just popped in and said, got here late. What day are you doing the class? So yes, my class Into Cyberspace, your new online customer center, is happening Friday, February 25th at 12:30 p.m. And it is a just over 3-hour class. And then a couple hours break in there. And then later on that Friday evening in the night shift section, which goes from 6 to 9 p.m., that's when Katie's doing that Present Your Products Online Professionally.
I looked into Katie's class. I peeked through the door last time at her on that Friday night, and that class was packed. So make sure that you're signing up for those early so you don't miss out on them. Yeah,
definitely. That's a good point. And then and so doing all that, and then I do get an opportunity to present a pricing class on the Saturday, that next Saturday morning. So that's just a regular. It's not bright and early, but let's see here. Where's my pretty face there? There we go. It is at 10:20 a.m.
Oh yeah.
So I'll do Small Business Saturdays first from the booth, and then I'll go over to the seminar. So anyhow, all right. And then Kim says, "Gosh, makes me want to go to DAX to get seminars."
You should. I think
love to see you there.
The shows are just more than seeing equipment and seeing new product. The people, the education. That's where there's a lot of it in there, and Like for us, there's plenty of times where I had went in the same class, a couple of years in a row, just to make sure I understood it, just to to see if anything had changed, and then two, to kind of help out the other people that were there too, there for the first time. Hey, you've been through it. This is what they're kind of meaning with it. This is where they're going with it. So it helps out. I could be totally wrong when it comes to trade show classes, but there is a difference in levels of classes. I've always felt that on a paid class, I'm not going to be sold nearly as much as when you go to the free ones, and I know that some of the places say in the free classes, they're not selling anything, but they are. They use the correct wording and the great thing in it where they're selling their product on how to do it.
There's no contract for them to not with like the DAX, and when the speakers are getting paid, we sign a contract that says we're not allowed to do that. I sent in a handout for the pricing one, and I accidentally sent the wrong one in, and it had some promotional stuff for OSG in it. And Margie like immediately replied back and said, "Oh, we can't." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I sent you the wrong one." And so yeah, you're exactly right, Todd. And whether or not, I know a lot of people do a good job with the free stuff, and it is decent information. At the end of the day, though, they somehow have to cover their costs, which means they're going to twist things in such a way that they're going to ultimately be able to hopefully sell you a product.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So sorry, I didn't mean to
interrupt,
but I'm really passionate about that.
Yeah. And that's one thing. And a lot of it, if you go into a free class knowing, hey, I'm going to learn something, but also going to get pitched something.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like going to a timeshare, right? You're going to enjoy it. You're going to have fun, but you're going to have to sit through a little pitch, and that's there. And most of them, have it around the product that you're looking at anyway. Like we went to, a Trotec one. And of course, they were talking about their lasers and how it does this, but a lot of the stuff was there on how they set up like irregular surfaces and things that they use for and how they can tune things. But so the knowledge was really good. Now, did they force Trotec down your throat? No, because it covered anything that any of the lasers that you would use.
Yeah,
you just made sure to mention that theirs was the one that they used. Here's why it was there. But there's a lot of great information with it. So don't get me wrong that on the free ones, it's going to be a pitch fest. There is a lot of great information in it, but just know that you have a really higher chance of getting pitched in a free one than in a paid one. In a paid one, you're going in, you're getting information there. And I can say that in the paid ones that I've went to, the only time I was really pitched anything was when I asked for more information. Hey, how can I find out more about this? How can I do it? And that's when they're like, well, here, get with me after class and we can get with you on it. They're there they've already got paid for it. They're doing their business. Here's this, and we can go from there. But the free ones, just expect that. I know some people have been disappointed with that in the past, and I never understood why. I'm like, you're getting something for free.
Yeah.
So of course, like, nothing's ever free. It always comes with a cost one way or another. And as long as the information,
if it's free, you're the product, right? And
right.
It's just kind of like free. Facebook, right?
You're the product. So just know that. And I know sometimes on some of the seminars, it can seem like a lot, where you're like, oh, I don't know if I can justify spending, $85 on a seminar.
Yeah.
Well, look at the information that you're going to get out of it. It's very hard for me to find a seminar that's not worth it if it's something that's in my field. Going on something screen printing, I wouldn't do a paid class on screen printing because I don't know enough about it. And if so, I guess it was a beginner one, sure I would, so I can understand more about it. But I see a lot of people where they're not at the level where they need to be to understand that class, so then they feel like it wasn't, they didn't get anything from it. So just, anybody that's putting on a class, I don't think has any problem with somebody reaching out to them and say, hey, here's my level. Here, is this class for me? Here's what I'm doing. And they'll tell you, because the last thing they want you to do, I mean, Eric's a good one for telling people all the time, on this class, where maybe this class isn't right for you because of the advancement with it, things like that. So you just got to just ask. It's not difficult. Just ask.
Yep. All right. So Sandy says, I wish Katie would have her class during the day. Well, you just have to attend the night shift, and then we'll all hang out afterwards, and it'll be just fine. So, all right. And Kim says, I don't mind paying for a good seminar. Great. Yeah, good.
Yeah, well, Katie's good for one after the class, because I think her class is at 6. Is that what time it is?
Yeah, 6 to 9. Yeah.
6 to 9. So just remember that there's still plenty of time afterwards to hang out, because, I think any of the after shows that we did, Katie made sure to show up in full effect and brought her crew with her that came with the class. So it was still My thing is, especially, in like Sandy's case with embroidery, you're going to be with your people that are going to be in the same thing that you're going to do. And so chances are you're going to end up with those same people where you're going to go have some drinks
Yeah.
afterward and continue the conversation and the knowledge. And I mean, I look at it where I can, go out and have drinks anytime. Now, granted, I will go out after the shows and have drinks with people that we met at the shows, and that's fun in there. But, go to the class and learn something and then show up and tell us about it and how much fun it was, and merely make, Katie feel, that she put something on you and it was not a chore to go to.
Yeah, for sure. When he says Charlie's great about the level 2, Charlie Tabley is who's she talking about? Yeah, it's always great to see Charlie at the DAX shows, and his seminars are wonderful. He's been teaching forever, and there's a reason that he always fills up his classes. So check that out. All right, Todd. Well, let's get one more question. We're already over time, but I think we got one more question in us tonight here. So heard a rumor about an OSG book club. What can you tell us about it? So, Todd, what can you tell us about it?
Well, I see that there's somebody here that could tell us a lot more.
Yeah. Wendy is here, and she could tell us a lot more about it. But we're going to put the banner up here on the bottom of the screen for people if they want to check it out. It's oursuccessgroup.com/OBG, which stands for Our Book Group. We thought we'd do a little play on our company name of Our Success Group, and so it's Our Book Group. And this is a really cool opportunity. So, Todd, you were talking a little bit about it last night on Tuesdays with Todd, and I appreciate that. I think you had a really great description of it here. The idea here, Todd, is it's not about, you even said this, it's not about a social group, right? A lot of times a book club can kind of devolve into just a social group, which is fine. But that's not what this is. This is a very curated, so books will be chosen. Now, we'll certainly welcome feedback like everything we do with our success group. We're always looking to get better and improve and listen to feedback that we get from people we get to work with. And so we'll certainly be open to that. But to start off, we've really kind of curated a list. And when I say we, Wendy has done a tremendous amount of work to come up with books that she knows will help people grow their business. And so the very first book that we're going to start with is called Atomic Habits. The author's name is James Clear, and it is a incredible book to really just help you install habits, I guess is the best way I could put it. It really is a process, and that's what I love about it, Todd. You talked about, kind of putting a process into place, and I think that's a huge part of everything that we do in our lives and world and businesses is there you go. Thank you. Atomic Habits by James Clear. And so, so the idea here is that you read the book. There's a Facebook group for the group. So Our Book Group has will have their very own Facebook group, and there'll be engagement, questions, thought-provoking encouragement. So basically, we've got a month to read or listen to this book. So you don't have to go buy the paperback book if you're an Audibles person. Todd, I think you even maybe got a jump start on the book on your travels.
I did. I
heard you correctly.
With 10 hours of fly time, it should be probably easier to listen to something.
Nice. So, and Wendy distilled it down nicely for us here. Join us, learn, engage, and grow. I mean, that's kind of the ultimate deal here. So you want to go check it out. It's if you're not an OSG member and you just want to join the book club, totally can do that. And it's just $25 a month. If you are part of either Club OSG, the OSG Squad, or a Masters of Success member, we have discounted pricing available for you. So we'll start posting that in the different groups and whatnot, or you can just reach out to us at success@oursuccessgroup.com. So you can be a part.
You can go right down there to the website and you'll get all the information, right?
Yeah, but we won't have the discounts for the club.
I thought we did. I thought it was on there, wasn't it?
No, I just said if you discounts are available for these groups.
I needed that on Audible so I could hear it, not have to read it.
You didn't read it. I should. You want me to just read this to you right now, like it's an Audibles book?
Which I did. I did try the 2 times speed. Yeah, I can't do the 2 times speed. 1.5 I was there. But then I realized, if I ever hear this guy in real life, he's not going to sound like
He's
this
not gonna sound the
because
same way.
it's
Yeah,
not him.
yeah. Yeah, I normally do like 1.2 or 1.3. So, all right. What else has Wendy got for us here? So, and so the reason we brought up Wendy is the moderator here, and she really was the creator of the idea. I think her and I kind of talked about it in passing, and then we were able to kind of come together and work out the details. And she's agreed to be the moderator of the group, because not only will she kind of moderate that Facebook group, excuse me, at the end of the month, we're going to have a Zoom call that then we get everybody in the group together, and we'll talk about implementation strategies. We'll have ways that we can get it to work. So
on that too, there's even a better part of that. There's not one, but there's two
Yes.
Zoom calls. So that way, if you can't make one, you can make the other. There's one in the evening, and then a different day later, there's one during the day. So I know a lot of times that people get, like, oh, I can't do this because it's at this time and I'm working during the day. Or it's at night and I'm working at night. So this gives you the opportunity to attend either one or both of them.
Yeah, exactly.
One's on a Sunday night,
you can.
One's on a Wednesday.
Yep, you're exactly right. And that was something that Wendy was very adamant about, that we set it up that way. Like Todd just said, if you can't make the Sunday night, then there's another one coming up on the Wednesday. I think it's 11 o'clock Central Time on Wednesday. So there's a Sunday night, a Wednesday morning. We'll again solicit feedback from people and make sure that people are able to get there. We are also going to then stream those Zoom calls into the Facebook group, so they will be captured there, so you can go back to them later and take that. But again, it's all about kind of getting people together, mastermind in a sense, but just like building takeaways. This has been a big thing for us this year, Todd, with our success group. This is something that I'm like, it's all every conversation I have seemed to somehow lead to this point where if people are getting all this information, they're getting this training, they're learning, that's only the first part. And honestly, that part is great. But the most important part is what you do with that information afterwards. It's the action that you take. It's how you install that particular bit of new knowledge ability into your day-to-day life, into your business, whatever it is that you're trying to improve. And so that's, I think, what's really important about these Zoom calls is let's get into finding ways to, okay, that was a great book. Here's my takeaways from it. Here's some of the thoughts. And again, this will be very moderated and curated as well, because we've learned both Wendy and how she installs things, and she's great at process too. But then my experience through my Canfield training and all the things we've learned, you and I, Todd, over our time with our success group here. So it's really important to us that you take action on this stuff too. So, so let me see. I didn't read what Wendy had here, but Todd, I don't want to cut you off if I just did again. I apologize. You get me in going on these things I'm really passionate about, and I just can't help myself.
I didn't hear what I was thinking I was going to hear from you. I was going to hear, the shelf help. The
shelf help. Yeah,
the shelf help is what I was waiting for.
But that's what it is. But then I have to explain
you got to take
help
the action.
Yeah. Shelf help. All right, real quick then. It says Todd wanted it. Shelf help is all of that knowledge and information that we get, that we stick in our brain, and it sits on the shelf in the back and gets dusty. And what the problem with that shelf help is that over time things change, right? Information improves, we learn new things, and now all of a sudden that shelf help you got there becomes worthless. And so you got to take it off the shelf and put it into action. So there you go. All right. So Wendy giving a quick overview of the Atomic Habit book here says, takeaway from the book: want to lose weight? Make things easy. Leave fruit on the counter so you see it and make a choice easy. So there you go. That's kind of it is a great overview of the book. And that's what you're going to get from Wendy is just kind of being able to distill this stuff down into actionable bite-sized chunks. And that'll be happening in the Facebook group and then at the Zoom call at the end of the month. So again, if you want to go over to oursuccessgroup.com/OBG, that's where you can get more information and you can join OBG.
I know. So we got to task Wendy with creating a fun OBG logo for that. Because I can't, because all I think is OBGYN, and that doesn't,
Well, we kind of, I put something together, but we'll see here. I can put it up. But yes, if I'm always open to new logos, by the way, folks. So I put stuff together based on what my abilities, and that's not my strength. So all right.
Maybe we should have a logo contest. And give something away for it.
Yeah.
Like
well, we're doing a contest over at Two Regular Guys right now, by the way. I can share that in a second, but here's the website, Todd, by the way. So that's our little OBG logo there on the side that works for now. Some books in the background, and
it works.
Hey, I did my best.
It was a graphic that explained what it was.
Wendy says I'm too busy.
Never too busy. When you
never too busy.
Wendy, when you're in a partnership with Aaron, you're never too busy.
That's right. That's my job. I'm the pusher. I'm the getting people into action. That's what I do. So sometimes it's not as comfortable as people would like, but Todd and I are still friends, so that's good.
Yeah, Wendy, he's trying to tell me I need to have a booth at a trade show in a month. Think about that.
I'm an encourager. I'm I help you see things in a different light. That's again my job.
And I looked at it where I've seen some really bad stuff out there, and they're doing just fine, and they're figuring out along the way, and it was, I totally get it, hey, do it and have some fun. But part of me is just like, yeah, I should, but maybe Chicago.
Yeah.
I can't keep shoulding on myself.
We pulled off an awesome booth in little to no time last year.
We did, but we also knew that we were going to do it for a couple months before.
Yeah. I'm still working on the OSG booth. I haven't really.
You'll continue to work on them.
Yeah. We worked on it at the show. You'll do the same thing. You know what to bring. You've got a list.
Maybe
all right.
I need to get something inflatable to match yours. We just get booths next to each other, and those are bookends.
I'm not sure if I'm going to use the couch this year, so if you need it, and then I do have an even bigger couch too.
No, we're good.
Okay.
We're good.
All right. All right. Well, Wendy says, Todd, now you tell me. So yeah,
I did my job.
Too little, too late, Todd. All right. Well, I'm excited about that. It's great to have Wendy, and I'm sure Todd will be along for the ride and involved too. So, you get all of us, and which is awesome. So, all right, Todd. I didn't see anything else on the list for right now. I know there's maybe a couple things popping up, but maybe we save that for Wednesday. I think there was one other thing on there. So,
yeah.
Anything else that anybody's got? And I guess we need to pop the banner up one more time here for folks to. So again, next Wednesday, I will try to be here on time next Wednesday. I don't think I have anything right next to it this time. So 5:00 Central Time, join Todd and I for Q&A with TNA.
Yeah. And if you're watching the replay, let us know in the comments that you're watching the replay so we know when there's watching it. I also just dropped the link in there so you can click on that, and you should be able to from there submit your question to it. But next Wednesday, 5 p.m. Central Time, we'll be here to do this again. I can't wait.
Yeah, exciting. And thanks you guys for being here, and thanks to Todd for making this all happen, and great job. And I should have typed in the comments then that I was a replay watcher of Tuesdays with Todd last night. So at volleyball practice. So. All right, sir. Well, let's call it a night, and we'll let everybody get back to their Wednesday evening, and then we will talk to everybody again next Wednesday on Q&A. Tune in this Friday to Two Regular Guys. We've got Victor Pena from Omniprint joining us to talk about building a millionaire brand with a growth mindset. So excited to.
That one should be really good. If you don't know, Victor was on Grant Cardone stage for GrowthCon, so there was a lot of good things that came from that. So it'll be interesting to see what he brings to the table here and how he explained it from there. There was a lot of great knowledge that was put there, so I think Victor will probably do the same thing for us as well.
Awesome. Yeah, looking forward to talking to him. And we're also possibly going to have some folks in from Printing United to share a little bit of some of the new stuff that they've got going on over there. They got a new media outlet out. And so we're going to ask them some questions, put them on the spot. Maybe we're still efforting, so not sure on that yet.
Always good to hear from the people at PU.
Yes, exactly. Love the folks over at PU.
You can never say it.
PRU is what they try to make it.
No, it's not. It's PU.
Hey,
come on.
They didn't think that one through when they changed their name. But that's a whole different story. All right. Well, Todd, and then Small Business Saturday happening on Saturday into the third week of my Fundamentals of Success. So we're going to be talking about decide what you require, and looking forward to sharing about that. And then Tuesdays with Todd next Tuesday. Anything specific on the docket, or are you still working on that?
Well, it kind of depends on Friday,
Okay.
on Thursday or Friday when this piece of equipment is shipping out. So I know which day that it is coming, because that kind of changes things, because I'm not sure what I'm going to have for space. But I know I'm going to have to move a lot of stuff in a lot of places, and so things might happen a little faster, because I honestly didn't think I was going to be getting a printer this quick. I thought I had a little time, so it's a good thing to have. But on the back side of things, two of the things that I know people asked about was using foil with HTV. They weren't 100% sure, and I know we've done it in the past with the toner to show that. But to show it with the DTF, or not the DTF, because that is something that we will be doing. I did mess with the little samples of some things. There's a foil out there that we'll be able to print DTF with, so kind of cool on that. But there's a couple sublimation mugs and stuff, and so I was going to show how I do a mug in a bag, or in a sleeve, whatever ones you use. So, you can still get that full wraparound. Right. So it may not be the right way to do it, but it's the way that I've done it, and the way that works for me, so we can get more coverage on it.
Are you going to dip it afterwards?
Well, I should, because that's what the manufacturer recommends when you go through their sites and says, instructions, make sure to dip. And
they just want you to buy another mug after you break it.
But we could totally do two mugs in the oven at the same time, and I could dip one of them, and you could hear the stuff that you hear is the cracking. You can hear it crack. So, I know we've done that in the past where we showed it, and it was on these ones, it might be easy to see too, because on a white mug, it's hard to see.
Yeah.
But when you use anything of a dark mug or something that's in the inside, then it's a lot easier to see those microfractures that are in there. But stop dipping your mugs. The only thing you should be dipping is chewing tobacco, and you probably shouldn't even be doing that.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe not do that either. All right. Well, Tuesday with Todd sounds great. I'm just throwing it out there because that's how you make things happen. One of these Tuesdays with Todd should be a road trip, because now you're traveling, right? You're going to come here, right? And
that I think we can make that. We can make that happen. I think I'm an easier, not an easier, but a less challenging, more calendar friendly as a Small Business Saturday.
All right. That's fine. We can, I just need to get you out here and because I've got a Epson F2100 sitting here that I'm not the type that likes to play around with the stuff like you do. So, let's make a video for people to help them show how to use their direct to garment for DTF. So.
Well, I think we can definitely add that on the list, and I think that's something we can set up here in the coming.
And we can do it live, Small Business Saturday, but then you can play it on Tuesdays with Todd, or talk about it, or whatever.
It's just it's a truck in a school week, so we'd have to see where everything falls. It might be a spring break type thing.
It doesn't have to be. We can move it out a little bit, but yes,
Tuesdays are just not a good day to travel for live.
We can have Tuesdays with Todd on a Friday night, or Saturday morning, or Saturday night, or I've got a room for you, so you can have come on down.
Just do it all, a two-parter. Here's this, and here's that. Show how to print on one, and then how to press with the other. We'll figure it out. We'll put that. I need to put that on my goal sheet.
There you go. Awesome. I love it.
Cool.
All right, Todd, sir, great job tonight. And thanks everybody for tuning in. And we will talk to everybody again next Wednesday for Q&A. But as you heard, plenty of other things happening between now and then as well.
Mm-hmm.
So have a good night, everybody.
All right. See you guys.